Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host Bad Chaz and neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. All right, guys. Well, welcome back, guys. How you guys doing, man?
Good, man. How you been?
Man, excellent.
I'm doing great, man. Blessed to be doing this. You know, I look forward to this every week, man.
Same here.
Right? It's our little, place we get together and, have fun, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Who would have known, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we're very blessed. And we're also blessed to have with us, well, let me introduce him once again. From Planada, California, working out of the Zoom corner, the one, the only, Jacob Stitch Duran.
Hey, get your job as a ring announcer, bro.
Hey, all right. I'll do that, man.
Hey, he's getting that a lot, man.
Hey, yeah, but I haven't left, man. You guys had such a good show last week that I said, nah, man, I still got some stuff we got to talk about, man. So let's do part two.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Stitch. We greatly appreciate that. Well, how was your trip to New York, man? We saw you working out of the Caleb Plant corner.
Yeah, it was good. They're always nice. It's always nice to, basically see you got the book, but this was in Brooklyn, right? But yeah, it's always nice to go. And, Caleb and the whole team, they're all just good people to work with. And, I was just so glad for him. Anthony Duran, I worked with his brother Andre for many, many years. And Anthony, he had got my number and, he said he was going to call me and he never did. And Caleb lives in Vegas. And I've known him, and they called me, and then after that, Anthony called me, and I said, "Man, I'm already booked," And but nonetheless, he had Mike Basil from the Bay Area that worked with him, and he was a good hand. So it's good. It's good to be back. And next week, I go back to the Garden. The main event's the Lomachenko fight, and I'll be there with Top Rank, and then the week after, I go straight to Abu Dhabi for Jessica McCatskill on DAZN, and then come back, and then I go to Mexico City for do a seminar on the 12th or 13th, Saturday and Sunday in Mexico City. And,
nice.
So living the life, man.
Yeah.
Teach you how to picking tomatoes and peaches and cotton in the summer.
Yeah, that's awesome, Stitch. So last when we left off, man, you were going to talk about a movie called Creed 3, huh?
Hey, man, have you guys seen the trailer?
We sure did.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
It's going off the wall.
It is.
Too bad we got to wait till March. Too bad we have to wait until March to watch it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's I was at the gym's what's the day? Monday, and it was released Monday, right? And so I always go visit Mayweather Gym, City Boxing, Bones Adams Gym, Silas's Gym, and just go shoot the shit with the guys. And all these guys that saw the trailer came up to me, and I said, "Man, it's a badass story," and it is. It's a good storyline, and Michael B. Jordan did a great job filming Jonathan Majors, which is the new badass dude. He signed a 7-movie deal with Marvel, so he's the up and coming star. And I had some great experiences with him. But I sent Michael a message. I said, "Look, man, I just wanted you to know that all the fighters in Vegas, think that Creed 3 is a hit, and just let them know." So I'm stoked. There's a little angle of me, my face, when Michael's looking at me when the guy is down, and there's a story that goes with that, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So I noticed that a lot of professional fighters are in the movie.
Yeah, you have some pro fighters. Jose Benavides.
Yeah, right. He's part of the plot.
Yeah, my man, Yaya McClain is one of the coaches. He used to be Johnny McClain. Him and there's some other guys that are out there. Of course, Canelo made a cameo, as you saw on the trailer. And and I told Michael, man, because I work hand in hand with Michael, and I'll tell you about November or 3/3/23, March 3/23, Bad Chaz. I'll tell you how that ended up, right? But I'll tell you about that first. So I'm wrapping Michael's hands, and he gets a phone call, and his hands are like this, and he gets a phone call. And he's going through his messages, and it's Denzel Washington. And I said, "Oh shit, Denzel! Hey, well, what are you doing?" "I'm getting my hands wrapped by Stitch." And so they're talking, and Denzel's telling him how proud he is of him and directing and this and that. And then he asked him, when is the movie coming out? So he says, "Well, right now they're filming Black Panther in Atlanta. We filmed in Atlanta. They're filming it in Atlanta also, and its tentative date is November the 11th. But traditionally, all the Creed and Rocky movies have been the Thanksgiving weekend. And so they're going to move Black Panther back. So it's supposed to be November 23rd. Oh. But then I'm looking at the fights of Ryan Garcia, and in between fights, Michael's in the ring, and he's directing the audience on situations that are going to happen in the movie, and they grab that fan excitement. And at the end, he says, "All right, man, we'll see you guys March the 3rd of 23. And I said, "What?" So I just happened to have done my final 2 weeks about 3 weeks ago. We were up in Santa Clarita area up in the mountains filming up there. And I said, "Michael, what's up?" And but he says, and which I think is a great idea, numbers 3-3-23 for Creed 3. So 3 is the number, right? And everything's based on numbers. And I tell Michael, I'm like a marketing savant. I understand. But it's such a good idea in two ways, because people slowly but surely are starting to come back to the theaters because of the COVID, right? And so after, by then, people will feel a lot more comfortable going to the movie. But I love the 3-3-23. So that's it. But Jonathan Majors, I'll tell you, when I first started wrapping his hands, and when I wrap fighters' hands, I like to talk to them and kind of get in their head and do all this and what have you not. And so I got a friend, Gilbert's calling me from Dallas. So I'm talking to him, and he's not saying nothing to me, bro. And I'm, what an asshole. I'm thinking to myself, what a jerk, man. And finished wrapping his hands, and he's getting up to leave. I said, no, man, we always dap, and we do hugs, right? So we dapped and did hugs. But then I realized that they told me that he was in character. Oh. He was already getting ready to fight as I was wrapping his hands. And so with that point, I got so much respect for him, and to the point now where we finish and Stitch, I love you, and can you autograph the raps that you signed for me? And so, yeah, we hit it off good. But that's awesome. I was telling a friend of mine, he did such a good job in the movie that I hated him. And when we went on break, I went to the other side of the ring where he was at, and I said, "John, you're an asshole," But that was a compliment, because he did such a great job that I hated him, And so the movie's going to be good, man. There's some good stories, and Michael did a tremendous job, and everybody involved did a super job.
Oh, we can't wait.
Yeah, we're just sitting here waiting. We want to take our wives to go watch it and stuff, and get together.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Planada, and I did that, the last times, and in Merced, I'll just rent out the theater for that and invite all my friends and family and from Planada, and and we could all watch it together. And I helped put a boxing program together and invite these kids also. So that's what we did last time.
That's a good idea.
Gotta go back, man.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Better way than inspire, guys from Planada, kids from Planada, that, hey, shit, I'm right here. I ain't no different than you.
Yeah. Well, we'll be outside with lawn chairs if we don't get in, Stitch. Yeah.
So, hey, well, come on down, man. You got my invite, bro.
Yeah,
awesome. All right,
definitely.
plus 6. Be the wise. So plus 6.
Andale.
Plus 6 there.
Yeah, that was cool, because the first time they sent me posters or pictures, and me and Rocky and Adonis, and that was the official photograph for Sports Illustrated, Forbes, and all that. And so they gave me those to sign out for the kids and all that. So we had a nice time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That Chaz.
You know what? Hey, Stitch, I had a question. You deal with fights. I don't mean to step off of the topic about the Creed movie, but I had done a little research, and I've talked to Juan, one of your colleagues, Juan Ramirez, the Cutman, and did a little research and found out about you have a post treatment for fighters and stuff, like even outside of the ring that you use, and it's like a Stitch product with CBD. for post-fight treatment.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up, Bad Chaz. It's called the Cut Cream. Like I just spoke to Jay Timms, the owner of the company. I get offers all the time. I had a tequila company that I turned down because I didn't like the image or I didn't like the name. And so people send me products, and I'm supposed to talk to another guys about drink that you drink before you go party and you don't get hangovers, right?
I need that right there.
We all need
Hey, we need that.
That's a miracle drug, Stitch.
You're speaking our language.
And but maybe so. Now that if I got you guys' attention, then maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
Thought it was Menudo for a second.
and through Juan, because I guess he had met Jay in some fights in Tijuana, and Jay created a cream for the healing agents as a healing agent for cuts. So when he contacted me, he was interested in sponsoring me, and I said, "Well, what proof source do you have? This is my 23 years of working with RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. I understand business." And he said, "Well, that's why I called you." So at that time, before the COVID, I was working the bare knuckle fights in Florida. I said, "Well, go with me," because these guys get cut all the time. They sew them up in the dressing room. You take a picture of them. You give them the cream, have them use it every day. The next week, have them send you the results. And the results have been great. And so, we're expanding it. There's 5 Cutmen that are working with me. Juan's one of them. But it's the cut cream at. So you can go to Stitch Cuts, and instead of the S on cuts, it's the Z. So stitchcuts.com, and they carry the product. But it's but we also found out guys that I gave it to in the gym and these are things that we never anticipated. Yeah, the healing agents, yes, because it has CBD, which is good for the inflammation, right? It has vitamin E, which is also a good healing agent. It has vegetable stem cell for the tissue, the growing of the tissue, and collagen. And then just now I had them add aloe vera. And so those are products, they accelerate the healing process. So after you get sewn up, put it on and every day. But one of the things we found through these examples is that it minimizes the scarring, number one.
Oh,
nice. But guys that say you're out sparring and, everybody gets bruised up when you go back home and you're bruised up. Well, the guys put it on, and the next day it dissipated that bruising.
The bruising.
So that's not stuff that we anticipated, but these are testimonies that I have from fighters that are top-rated fighters. So so now we're working on getting samples, and then just as we're in the fights, one included, guys get banged up, and let them try it, and they're our proof source.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of the pictures online of some of the fighters. I think it was Andrew Maloney. He had, some photographs of before and after using that product. And I mean, that guy healed up within days, maybe 3 days.
I'll show you some products now. So there's 3 examples that I use all the time, but this is the one that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then a week. Well, here's what the product looks like.
Right.
Okay.
So
perfect.
And then so a week later, look, check it out.
What?
Oh, wow, bro.
All right. And then this guy's a bare knuckle fighter, and he got banged up. Ooh. And then a week later, he sends me his copy.
Wow.
But better yet, this is my brother that had surgery. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, he took the bandage off right there. Right. And then a week later, he cleaned it up. Oh, my
gosh, man.
So,
that's dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for us, it's, of course, for the fighters, but the optimum goal is to present it to these companies that do plastic surgery. Yeah. People that get cut up through surgery and make it available to them. And if it works for fighters, it should work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, me and Bad Chaz have young kids, and they're all traviesos. You know what I mean? They're all fighting. They all like to get into shit that they shouldn't be into.
Yeah.
And they're always getting banged up. And me and Bad Chaz had talked about getting stuff just at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having our little wristbands and stuff because trust me, Stitch, these kids, man, from 1 minute they're angels, and the next minute they're jumping off walls. And we talked about that. So we're definitely going to be looking into the wrist and the Q-tips and the CBD, all that stuff. So
and you should. And you brought up Juan Ramirez, right? He handles all of that. Everything that we need for coaches, for trainers, corner guys, he has everything. And I don't know if I told you guys the story, but this is how I ended up working with Juan. Is I have my own line of tape, my own Stitch Premium tape, my KO Swell, and all that. And people would order from me, and let's say I was leaving Thursday, go do fights, I wouldn't be able to get the order sent out till I got back Monday. So through a dream, I woke up and I called Juan. I said, "Look, man, I just had a dream, bro. Would you be interested in carrying my product? And we'll work on this and that." And of course, it put a good name on him. But I told him, I said, "My goal is for you to do this full time," and he's doing a tremendous job. And,
that's awesome.
That's great to hear. Yeah.
We'll see where he's going to be at 5 years from now.
We had spoken to him before, and he's been a very good help to our podcast and stuff. Yep. And we wanted to touch bases on that with you and stuff, and kind of go over and highlight your product that you have on his website and stuff, because we know that you're not going to waste your time with just anything. We've seen the results from it and stuff. So we kind of wanted to kind of touch a little background on that. I had another question too, as far as the International Cutman Association. Can you tell me about the foundation of that and how that was developed?
Yeah, that was Federico Catazzoni from Rome, Italy. He's a nurse that works in the surgery rooms, and he's a cutman also. Well, he's the one that created the ICA, International Cutman Association, and now further they brought me in for my name, as an honorary president, right? But I said, yeah, I'm in. I'm game. I'm here to help and be involved and all that. So we did our first convention in Germany, Cologne, Germany. And we had a hand wrapping championship and all that. And from there it's grown, but try to help each other out, support everybody. And, anybody has questions and we could answer them, and just kind of put the clica together, everybody from all over the world.
What's the purpose of that organization? Is it?
There's not really no purpose. It's just a matter of, if you're a cut man, stay in touch, know, or if I need a cut man where you live at, we might be able to do that. But outside of that, it's not, it's not really, I don't do anything outside of go to the conventions, so, and I don't know if anybody does. And Federico maybe, start putting a web page together if people have questions. And like you guys, if you guys, have, we do a show, if you got questions, ask Stitch, and that way you get those people involved. So, but yeah, I don't do much with it.
Oh, okay.
Just by name.
I thought maybe it was more of some kind of organization to kind of protect you guys from legality issues or something. I just
and that's a good point. But one of the things I do have to credit it for is, to become a member, you have to have an X amount of fights and X amount of experience, right? Mm-hmm. So you just, guys that have 2-3 fights working corners or the first year of being a cut man, you don't qualify just yet. So the guys that are here that are members of the ICA are guys that have had experience and continue being stated cutmen. So in that aspect, it's good to get those guys in one unit. And and like I mentioned before, combat sports, all sports, none of us have to be certified to be called pros. And if anything, that's what we try to do, is try to bring a little bit of education somehow.
Right on. That's good information. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to my partner here.
Hey, Stitch, from reading your book, a lot of your childhood memories kind of remind me somewhat of my own. You know what I mean? From playing in the mud to swimming in the canals. You know what I mean? I came from a small town and there's not a whole lot to do. So you got to make, whatever fun you can find, you do it. You know what I mean? And I read that, a lot of the pranks that you did is some of the pranks that we did as kids. But one of them that sticks out is when I was reading, you put a snake in the library, right? He put a snake in the drop box of the books. And I mean, can you elaborate on that? Because man, poor teacher, Stitch.
Yeah. It's, I guess we're all little cabrones and our own thing. And remind me to get back to the mud, because I think that's a serious point that we need to fall on, because you're right, But yeah, we were at the park, hanging out and all that. And I guess a truck ran over a snake and it's dead in there and it's on the street. And how can I get it? I go throw it in the chute of the library, right? and the next day, Mrs. White comes in to open the library, and she sees a snake and it scares the crap out of her. You know, so it wasn't hard for them to identify who did it because we all bragged about it, right? But one where I was a legend already was I was a junior, senior in high school, and where Planada's at, 6 miles down the road is Lee Grand, and that's where the high school is at. So Lee Grand, Plainsburg, Planada, we all go to the high school in Lee Grand, and they had the basketball game there, and we left before that, and we stopped at Bobby Barola's house and got some toilet paper and went to the canal Peter Deep that's right on the main road, and they wrapped me up like a mummy, and as these cars were coming back from Lee Grand, you know, to Planada, I'm in the road and they just see a mummy with glasses, right? But it scared the crap. So every time cars would go by, they would wrap me again. And so the next day, there's in the newspaper, mummy seen in Lee Grand, right? You know, so that I of course, we're bragging about it, and I get home and my mother says, "What'd you do last night?" Nothing. Just back. She threw the newspaper in my lap. Said, "Mira, cabrón, I know what you did," you know. So I had to go talk to then we had the judge, no cops, you know. We had a constable, but we had to go talk to the judge, and you know, he's telling me, "Well, maybe I ought to just have like Halloween parties." I said, "Okay, it's done. I'm out." Boom. So but the mud, yeah, you know, it's funny because you're right. You know, we'd go swimming in the canal, and then right next door is the fig orchards, and when they watered them, they swamped them. They filled it up, just water everywhere. So we would lay in there, and the water's real soft, and it would turn into mud, go dry up, and then jump in the canal, right? But as you look at it now, these rich people are doing this shit and getting paid a lot of money. You know,
like it's good for their skin, huh? Like they're paying all this money to have the mud on their skin because it's good for their skin. Like
yeah. But they don't get the benefit of the pesticides, man.
Well, you know what? And I was going to say that you took the words out of my mouth. Ours were in tune with pesticides. Yeah. I got so much pesticides in me that mosquitoes don't even mess with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you know.
Yeah, we speak the same language, Stitch. And actually, the king of pranks is this guy right here.
Man.
Hey, talk about that prank you did on putting the stuff in the purse. Let Stitch know.
Oh, you know, when we were kids, man, we were bored. We would get our mom's old purses. We'd go to our friend's house and, hey, does your mom have any old purses? Or does your mom have any old purses? We get the purse and we'd stuff it full of like old food, or we'd go out back and we'd get like a little bit of dog shit and we'd put it in the purse and we'd put it out in a intersection or in a busy road area. And the cars would drive by and they'd see the purse, man, and me and my buddies would be like laying down like in a boat or something parked out front, and the cars would pull over and they'd be like, "Hey, grab that purse right there, you know, like let's get it real quick." And then I tell my buddy like, "Hey, be quiet," and they'd pick it up like they were excited, like they just hit the lottery. They drive like 5 feet, and man, they were pissed and throwing it out the window, and you felt like you were gonna get beat up. Well, one time, me and my buddies, we got like some of our old clothes, right? Like we had an old long sleeve T-shirt and a pair of old Levi's and a pair of tennis shoes and a hat, and we sewed it all up and we stuffed it full of like old newspaper and other things to kind of fluff it up. And then when I was like, "Hey, you know what? Put like a 2x4 or something in there." So we shoved like a couple of 2x4s in there, and we put it in this road in the middle of the road where these cars would turn real fast, right by our house. We were just bored kids, man. Yeah. And you know, growing up in the Central Valley, and these cars, you know, they would come real fast into our neighborhood. And this car, you know, it came real fast and it turned real quick, and it couldn't even see enough time to stop, and it hit this dummy that we developed, and it boom 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 sure, and it hit the brakes real quick, and this guy stood right there, man, sitting over the top in this car for like a couple hours, man, like, and we're sitting over there like, oh my God, what did we just do? And like, and then before you know it, like all the ambulance and the PD and all of these people show up, and like, and we're running home, and my mom's like, "What did you do now?" You know, and anyways, you know, we were always just doing like just mischievous things. Like we had so much time on our hands, and whether we were floating down the canal or in the river, or setting up those purse traps, or building those little dummies, or we were boxing with gloves after school. It was just we were always doing something like that. So we know how to relate to your stories. About growing up in the fields, man.
We got in Miami. I know. Like say my baseball coach, Polo League and Little League, he had a turkey farm. And in the nighttime, it's out in the country, right? We'd go out there and turn the lights off. We'd have to walk probably 3/4 of a mile into there. And in the nighttime, the turkeys are quiet. So you grab them and then you put them in a gunny sack, right? And then we would take them and go and sell them, right? So one of them, I grab him like this and the wing flopped and he started doing this and drops my glasses off and it's nighttime and I'm looking like this, and I pick them up, and I got shit all over them. But we used to go back to Planada and Merced and sell the turkeys, and we did a lot of unscrupulous things. And I was thinking one of the books I should write, and I was thinking of writing is if my mother only knew the shit that I did. And got a story from you, got a story from you, got a story from you, and we all have stories. If my mother only knew, they would freak out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That'd be a number one seller, Stitch.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You just get somebody, give me one or two stories. That's it. One story.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Stitch. So let's go back to the Cutman world. Have you ever had a fight where, let's say, your fighter's winning, it's past 4 rounds, and all of a sudden he gets a cut to where maybe it might be beneficial if the fight is stopped and the fighter will win through the cards? Has that ever happened? Or the corner has crossed the mind,
when the first fight I worked with Vladimir Klitschko, bro. This was at Caesar's Palace. Going back in December the 12th, 1991, we took a team. The Soviet Union had just broke. And we took a team of professional boxers and kickboxers to Kiev to fight the Ukrainians, right? And it was cold. I remember that. I was telling Vitaly, it was real, real cold. But so when Vitaly and Vladimir started training in Las Vegas, I let them know that I never met them, but I saw them. They were at the fights. And we talked and all that. And so he got me to be the cut man in the movie Ocean's 11 with him, right? But after that, he told Emmanuel Stewart that he wanted me as his cut man. So his first fight back from losing to Lehman Brewster, he fought Devereaux Williamson outdoors Caesar Palace. And it's my first fight with him. And during the fight, he's looking okay. He's not looking great. Won the first 3 rounds, but not impressive. Right. In the 4th round, he gets dropped. Big flash knockdown, right? Okay. And I'm always looking outside of just cuts. I'm looking at the rounds. So at this point, I know he's still ahead, 3-2, right? And in the 5th round, he takes an unintentional headbutt and he gets that big vein. He pops that big vein and I know I've worked with Forrest Griffin. I've worked with many guys on that kind of cut. They're almost impossible to stop because the vein is so big that blood just gushes out, pumping, right?
Yeah.
And so I sit him down and I whisper to him and Vitaly, his brother, I said, look, you're winning the fight. You got a bad cut. I'm going to have the doctor stop the fight. So when the doctor came in, Dr. Goodman says, she knew me because I did all these UFC fights and, they know me. And she said, well, Stitch, what do you think? And I go like this. I open it up and she said, it's pretty bad. Stopped the fight, went to the scorecard. He ended up winning the fight and became world champion after that. And did I let you hear the message he sent me, man? I'm going to let you guys hear it.
That'd be awesome, Stitch.
And,
what a story, man.
And so I spent 8 years with these guys, him and Vitaly. Great, great guys, man. And, right now they're in Kiev. They're right in the middle of the war and, no telling. But during the movie, Michael asked me, Stitch, during the fights, who should give away the WBC belt? They wanted everything authentic. And I said, well, look, man, WBC belt was created by Jose Suleiman, Mexico City, most prestigious belt out there. It should be given away by a Mexican guy. Well, we're in Atlanta, bro, and the only Mexican was in the egg. They had like 250 extras. Was this guy and his wife about my age. And I was talking to him before, and I said, see that guy over there? Get him. So I go to Dallas when Ugas fights Spence, and I see Mauricio Suleiman, the son. So I explained to him how we represented the belt, and we talked about Vladimir Vitali. And he said, well, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture of and then send it to him. And, that's the picture that we took, right?
Yeah.
Right. But you got to listen to what Vladimir sent me, man. Listen, for you guys ears only, bro. Watch.
My two favorite men, especially Stitch, with whom I spent so much time talking, and he actually saved my career on a lot of different stages. If Stitch wouldn't be in my corner, I would not make the record of 12 years being a champion. So that's so great to see you both, and Stitch is the man.
Badass, huh?
Wow, man, that is.
Yeah,
That gave me
it almost
chills.
brought tears to my eyes. And this is right when the wars started, but yeah, it's had some great moments with him and Vitali,
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Stitch.
Yeah, well, let me go further into that. So, the last fight that I worked with Vladimir when he fought Anthony Joshua, right? And he lost, but I didn't see Vladimir and Vitali till Friday at the weigh-ins because my daughter Carla had gotten married, and then from there I got to London Thursday night. But I talked to him, and then I see Vladimir, and I put my head on his shoulder. I said, "Look, man, don't worry about nothing tomorrow. I'll take care of you like you're my son." And I leave because I know he can't sleep. Man, I'm putting the Vaseline on him right before Michael Buffer does the announcements. We're about this far apart. And in front of all these people, 90,000 people in Wembley Stadium, bro, he says, "You can call me son." Bro, that kind of gave me chills. But I knew I'd gotten into his mind and to the point where he felt comfortable. And he calls me after the fight, "Hey, Daddy." But months later, I see him in Germany, and I said very simply, "Vladimir, that moment, why?" He says, "Stitch, there's very few people I trust in my life. You are one of them."
Yeah. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
And what a reign he had, right, Stitch? I mean, he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time when it's all said and done. And you were there for him. Yeah, I can't believe
Vitali was the baddest of both of them.
Right, the older brother. Yeah,
and
then he gave it over to his little bro Vlad, and Vlad just took over for over 10 years, which was impressive. It still presses me to this day, man.
Vitali tells me at the end, same thing. He puts his hand on my shoulder. Then I'm saying goodbye, leaving the dressing room. Our last fight together. He says, "Stitch, the Klitschko era has ended." He goes, "You have been up with us for so many years. I love you. You are always welcome to my house." That's right on.
That's awesome.
So that was my final words to Vitali. So I just saw him in the news today, and it just breaks my heart. That these guys are fighting something a war that shouldn't be fought.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And our prayers go out to them, and hopefully we get some peace sooner than later, man. Any other questions? Neighborhood here, right in the reels.
You know what? I'm just still interested in finishing your book, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody's already asking me. They watched our last episode and they're like, "You know what? Hey, let me borrow that book after you?" And I'm like, "No, it's for me and my wife.
Let me borrow.
You can buy your own book,
Yeah.
So now this book's staying with me, and Stitch, man, like just already starting to read your book, it just brings back memories. And I didn't grow up, in the same area, but pretty close. It's just weird because it brings back a lot of stuff that I've gone through in my childhood and stories that my parents tell me, and it's just nice to see it, man. And I'm just super excited to finish reading this book, and I can't wait to finish it. I'm also going to get your second book, and I can't wait.
It seems like La Raza, right? We grow up very similar, right, Stitch? I mean, we
all of
the farm workers.
Central Valley. We're all doing the same thing. It's the agricultural capital of the world. If you ain't picking it, you're probably setting the fields up. To water.
Exactly.
You're doing something. I don't know if you guys are younger generation. It might have been out banned by then. But when I was in high school, 70 years. I graduated in 70. But when I was in high school, they used to have what they call smudging, and where the temperature would drop before it dropped to 32 degrees, which is freezing. We were like juniors and sophomores and seniors, and they would wake us up at 2, 3 in the morning and put us in the back of a truck and go out to the fields, and they would give us torches, and we would light all these diesel cans every row, and I mean hundreds, and wait till the freeze broke, and then we'd go turn them off, and they would let us off of school, because it was one of the requirements for the agriculture.
Yeah.
But they banned it not because it was bad for us, because it was bad for the pollution.
Exactly.
Seriously, that was why. Not because it got into our lungs. And you know who went smudging, because you would get black hair, black in the eyes, the ears, and all that. So
those are illegal now, Stitch. But I still see them every day.
They're illegal
you
now.
can't get rid of them. If you're in the Central Valley, you're gonna see them. They're around in people's backyards. Smudging is something
The
that
smudge pots, right? Is that
smudge pots, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they're like antiques now. Like they sell them at the antique stores and stuff. Like you'll drive by and it's like they want freaking $120 for this old smudge pot, and it's just like that one point in time that was your era.
Yeah, people use them as souvenir, as exhibits in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I lived it, So,
I had a question, Stitch. Working the corner, say like, you're using specific ingredients like, what was the adrenaline as one of the popular ones, 1000, and then you mentioned some of the other ingredients that you use to kind of patch these guys up so that they can continue to fight without getting stoppage. I know that these ingredients, they're not cheap to purchase and use for your fighters and stuff. What would you say is like probably one of the most expensive fights or one of the most expensive rounds that you've used? You've had to use a lot of ingredients to kind of keep this guy remaining in the fight. Could you have a number for something like that?
I've had plenty of those, especially when I was with, like, the bare knuckle fights. Well, not so much of bare knuckle fights because they go 5 rounds, right? Yeah. But when you get into like these MMA fights where they're gushed and gassed and all that, and you're pulling out the whole kitchen sink, but also is when I do multiple fights, and guys, there's sometimes every guy you touch is going to get cut. But yeah, I always prepare for the worst case scenario. I always bring what I need plus what in case I need.
Yes,
more than enough.
No, you're right. The medications, for the most part, the adrenaline chloride 1000, the epinephrine they call it, that is a vasoconstrictor. That's the one you put on the swab, and then the thrombin and the avatine are coagulants. The thrombin is more of a liquid. Also, you would apply it, but it coagulates the blood. And same with the avatine, but it's like a cotton candy. But once you hit it, it takes that clot off. So, but the best thing for guys that, because you need a prescription for the adrenaline, is the Quick Aid that Juan carries. That was one of the products that they asked me to work when I was with the UFC. Quick Clot and all these different companies. But the Quick Aid I like the best because it's 100% natural. Doesn't require a prescription or nothing. And it's 100% seaweed. It's based off of seaweed base. And what it does, it dehydrates the blood. So that's what I tell. And it's easy. You could be a moron and just leave it on the cut for 45 seconds and you're a Cutman. But I encourage everybody to get it. So those are the medications that are used, but they're all very hard to get.
So the bag that you carry to like, say the Caleb Plant fight that you just went to this last weekend, like how much would you say that you have wrapped up into that bag for that fight? Like as far as equipment, how much money do you have wrapped up into that?
I've never looked at in terms of money, but I always bring enough. If I'm working with Caleb, right? So or a fighter, I always bring enough for 5 fighters. So in case I'm working with 5 fighters, definitely number one is if let's say Caleb Plant, I wrap his hands and he don't feel comfortable with one of them, then I got to do it again. But yeah, I always prepare for 5 fighters. That's something that I always it's routine for me. My wife knows, my kids know. I got my gauze there, my tape there, my KO swells there, everything. I go through all the inventory every time. And,
right.
And Juan, let me see which one's that. Let me show you what Juan gave me. Hold on.
All right, let's check it out.
Juan, Southwest lost my luggage with all my shit and all that.
Man.
Juan gave me look at this bag, bro.
Ooh,
wow,
nice.
that's
The
vintage.
doctor's bag, yeah.
Right,
Dang.
vintage doctor's bag.
It's badass. And he put he wrote to my friend Stitch and all that.
Oh, that's dope.
Man, he's so nice, huh?
Yeah,
He's always helping everybody, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, 100% good guy, and so we've been blessed.
That's awesome. Any more questions?
Yeah,
you
no,
guys?
yeah. Well, look at me, Stitch, and you would know I'm a foodie, man. So I want to know, what does Stitch Duran like to eat, man?
I love desserts.
Being Mexicano, right?
I love desserts, bro.
Desserts.
I'm pretty good with everything, but desserts, I love them. I used to work with Fabrizioso from France and came back and told my wife, I said, man, I love it in France because the French eat their dessert before their main course, and shit, for about 6 months, she thought that was the truth.
I didn't know it was French.
Right? So I could eat my dessert whenever I wanted. But it's, I'm pretty much, the only thing I can't eat is liver. I can't do liver, bro.
Never had that.
Yeah, I hear it's grainy. Is it grainy or?
I just taste irony.
Yeah. So would you say Mexican? Like, so me being Mexican, I like that's maybe like the third tier for me. Like I like Chinese food or Japanese food. Do you prefer like other people's other cultures' food?
Thai food. I love Thai food.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Thailand for a year, so that just kind of. But I love it. It was good food and it's spicy. I love Chinese food.
Yeah.
I think Italian falls on the bottom. I'm not good with red sauce. I'm not real good with pasta.
Yeah, the older you get with with the.
Yeah, they're okay for a while, but that's it.
That's awesome.
Do they have some pretty good Mexican food over there in Las Vegas compared to like to
100%.
Planada?
Yeah. There's different cultures and different. I mean, Las Vegas is international, but you got a lot of the Latin people that are working in the casinos and the restaurants and all that. So you get some from El Salvador and all that. But you got the seafood restaurants, you got the traditionals, different ones. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and getting back to the Creed movie, Stitch. Not to give any spoilers, but do you work on cuts in the movie?
Let me see. Do I work on? Yeah, I do. I tell you what, man. The fights are some of the best fight scenes I've seen. Oh, I was going to tell you when I mentioned Jose Benavides and Canelo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I told Michael, I said, Michael, I'm going to let you know that this is the first major movie where you have highlighted a Mexican fighter, and they did it to the highest degree.
That's
right.
Great.
So from there, when you see it, you can say, "Hell yeah, bro!"
Right. Yeah, that's.
They even let us speak Spanish. Our own dialogue. We didn't really have lines. We all got mic'd. And I mean the main actors, yes, but like me, because I just do what I do, and then when I have to say something, that's what they pick up. Yeah. And they let us. Throw some Chicano in there.
Awesome.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. And how long were you on the movie set?
8 weeks altogether. I did 6 weeks in Atlanta, and then 2 weeks at Santa Clarita up in the mountains. And it was cool because my wife went with me to Atlanta, and then they had me like an apartment up in top floor of this hotel, and everything. Picked me up. Had my own car. They rented me a car, and just. So I was an actor,
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great. Any new news on your new project that you were telling us about, where you were getting almost as a narrator and Little Joe?
Yeah, I haven't heard back from him. Okay. I'm going to follow up with him again. I don't want to be bugging him, and I know these guys, but I'll go through an alternate route. There's always a second door, right?
All right, maybe try Santana.
But just the point is, if you could do it, it'd be great. If not, then we're going to have somebody else, and they're working on the trailer right now. One of the guys I'm really glad that we're having, and they asked me if I should keep him, is Cain Velasquez, and I said, yeah, of course, keep Cain Velasquez. He's in jail right now because he shot this guy that tried to molest his family.
Oh, is that what happened? Hey.
But nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, that's great, Stitch. Anything else you want to say to your fans?
Nah, man, you guys did it all, man. It was good to have you, start the shit again, and you guys did a good job, and for me to come forward with this, a lot of it had to do with Juan Ramirez too, because you guys had him on your first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one, just so supporting him, I support you guys.
Oh, thank you, Stitch.
Thank you very much.
That's what
thank you so
be.
Much, and thank you once again for being an inspiration to all of us, Stitch. Like you said, you have influenced many generations of people coming up, through the Cutman game. They look at you and, they say, hey, he can do it. I can do it as well. All right. And so thank you, Stitch. Wish you a good night. All right. And thank you for coming on again to give us part 2 and give us those stories, man. It was a blast laughing. Always a good time, man. And you know what? I want to go see you in Planada, man, for the Creed 3.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Maybe we do a live broadcast there, huh?
Heck yeah. Stitch.
Yeah, for
Bad
sure.
Chaz. You remember Bad Chaz? Whether I see you in Planada or in Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, one way or the other, huh?
Yeah.
All right, my man. Well,
All right, Stitch.
but yeah, you're definitely invited to go to Planada. Well, actually, being Merced, Planada ain't got street lights. We're a little too small, but you know what it's like. Yeah. Nonetheless, we'll you guys are more than welcome to come by. Yeah, we'll do a show.
Yes.
Do a show in the lobby.
We'll set that up, Stitch. Absolutely. All right. With that said, God bless, Stitch, and you have a great night. We'll see you soon.
All right. God bless.
Thank you, Stitch.
Thanks.
Take
Good
care,
show.
man.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Well, what a interview, huh?
Right.
What a down-to-earth guy Stitch is, man.
Yeah.
To share, the personal message from Klitschko. Just awesome inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So I want to thank our viewers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this bonus episode, part 2 with Stitch Duran. I do want to say shout out to Stitch Duran.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, man. And we look forward to seeing you, man. Over what was it, Merced? He said.
Yeah.
For Planada. Let's do it all, and we'll plan that out. Stitch, thank you so much. I am Coach D, co-host Bad Chaz, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, and we're out, guys.